I missed my $1 million trade. Now what I'm going to do. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. My name is Davitar Jeremy. I'm 5x5, even after realizing that I missed my $1 million trade entry. I'm going to talk about that. And also, we're going to be talking about Paul Krugman, one of my favorite people to talk about too, just like Peter Schiff and a few others out there like Mr. Wonderful. But Paul Krugman, he's a special one. He's very special. We're going to talk about him and also what am I going to do now that I missed my trade, right? When we get to the point where we do talk about the trading of Bitcoin and Ethereum in the latter half of the show. So if you're interested in trading and doing some trades, you can head over to bybit.davincij15.com or okx.davincij15.com or 2bit.davincij15.com. Links are in the description below. Before we get to the news, remember Davitar rewards, right? We're going to get on a yacht and this weekend, so hopefully you guys will jump on that yacht. You just have to, have one of these Davitars that have the yacht property right there. There it is, the yacht property, right? And boom, you can join the yacht. Of course, you can wait until Thursday and we'll open it up to everybody. There's only limited spaces left, so make sure you get in, right? There will be a deposit so that you actually show up and don't just waste by clicking, yeah, I'll come and not come, right? There's other people who want to show up, right? And they should be able to come if they really want to. All right. With that said, news. Economist Steve Hank blasts Nobel laureate Paul Krugman global phenomenon inflation remark. Okay. So let's go on to this. Paul Krugman accused of spreading disinformation. Really? No. Say it ain't so, Paul. Say it ain't so. This man was, he said that we need an alien invasion, right, in order to start up the economy. I want you to think about that and have that sink in for a minute. Okay. Steve Hank, a professor of applied economics at Johns Hopkins University, has criticized fellow economist and Nobel laureate Paul Krugman for claiming that inflation is a global phenomenon. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Hank criticized Krugman's latest op-ed article in the New York Times. Yes, it's a rag for the government propaganda arm, New York Times, as another of the Nobel laureate's disinformation pieces. Okay, so just so you know, Nobel laureate means that, you got a Nobel Prize when the Nobel Prize were being given out to all the real people who gets the Nobel Prize. But they happened to have another party there in order to give out Nobel Prizes that has nothing to do with Nobel. That's how it works. Because there's no official Nobel Prize in economics. Anyways, in his December 7th installment, Krugman argued the case for Bidenomics, a term used to describe the economic policy of the United States President Joe Biden. While he has given up persuading conservatives, Krugman suggests that progressive U.S. citizens can still be convinced that Biden administration has done well with the economy. Okay. Just so you understand, I'm not going to go into reading all the rest of it, but I'm going to give you the breakdown. Is that Krugman is a Keynesianomics, and Keynesianomics means that if you spend more money, right, you can start the economy, right? If you print money and spend it, the economy runs. But that's not true, because what happens is the money goes to bad places, right? It goes to places where it's not needed, right? And what does that mean? But places that's not needed. Well, for example, if you end up building too many houses, right, because there's a whole bunch of money, people think that they have a bunch of money to buy houses, then house prices go up and it's not needed there. You need it somewhere else, The only way for the economy to actually function properly is that money goes to where it's actually needed. It can't go to where it's not needed, or else it's just be corrupted. Basically, you'll move the money into, like, for example, to really understand that concept is that if a bar owner did not pay attention that, hey, wait a minute, there's a major game going on, he and then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people come in, started buying his liquor and buying food and stuff like that, and he just couldn't figure out where that was coming from, and there was happening every day for a week. He'd just say, okay, well, I'll just open up another store and just go ahead and build several stores because this is going to go on forever and ever. But the reality is just the game is showing up for the short time. If the game stops and the people disappears, then he just wasted money building a restaurant and hiring staff. Well, the same applies when you deal with money, right? If you print a bunch of money and hand it out, it's just going to go to do things that are not necessary. Okay, this is PAAL, the chat bot that you guys can actually use. Everyone can use. Make sure you check that chat bot out. It is a cool free bot that you can use to help your chat room. So go check it out. Why not? It's free. I like free. And there's no strings attached. I mean, if you want them to program it for you and do all the work, of course you could pay them, but you could do it yourself. It's not that hard. All right, let's go on to the chart. Okay, so this point was a breakdown point, and once it broke, that was it. I was not willing to see that. Wait a second, Da Vinci. There might be a point where if this thing breaks, it's going negative, right? And I was only willing to see that it was going to go higher all the way up here. That's all I was willing to see, and that was my problem. And I want to discuss that problem, right? So that next time I won't do that. Right? And so I knew that, hey, you know what? The risk point was down here at this blue line, right? Where, hey, you know what? That's it. To break down, and I was right. And it also was resistance, which as it failed and came back, it couldn't break through, right? And failed again. So yeah, there we are. We are going to have some follow through. Is there a chance that it can go higher? Yes. But we have to go with balance of probabilities. Odds are the market will continue to collapse down and break down. And this is a trend channel, actually an upward trend channel that we're bounced off of too as well. I realized that this is a trend channel that I drawn, and it once we get back into it, it's going to be brutal, right? We're heading back to 38K. If we break back into this upward trend line channel. So with that said, just because we missed this trade, we just have to let it go, and find another one. Because the market's always here. When will the market disappear? So if you ever miss a trade, always remember, the market just didn't disappear just because you missed a trade. Just find another one. There it is. So we're going to find another one. We're going to be looking for the next trade. With this high volatility, Bitcoin will bounce around very fast and then slow down its volatility and give us a general idea of the direction it wants to go. Meanwhile, it will probably bounce all the way around and create some sort of pattern to give us that particular information. We could either wait for that or start our entry right now, because usually when we have a big bounce, it's going to fail again. So I'm looking for a short, and you look for a short in the shorter time frames, and that's how you do it. So right now, the shorter time frames is bouncing off a support line, which I've drawn here, and we're looking to see if it's going to fail this support line. So if it does not break above the 42,000, right, that means it's going to probably fail. This support line is going to fail, and we're going to have a breakdown all the way down to this trend line. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look for some sort of trade to open up a massive trade here in this area so that we can, capture the short and, all the way to 38,000. And that's what we're going to do. And in my private group at davincij15.com. And we'll let you know tomorrow what we do. Okay? All right. So with that said, let's head over to Ethereum. Ethereum, it's the same result with Ethereum. Ethereum will probably bounce around a lot heavily and then slow down and give us an indication of what it wants to do. It'll most likely want to go down, but that's not guaranteed. And so we have to wait and see over a long period, over the next few days, it'll probably give us, or next for a few hours, it will give us an indication of where it wants to proceed. That's the best thing to do as a trader, is to wait for the market when it's made a big move to give you the entry. But if you can day trade, you can go on to lower time frames and come up with a solution. Okay. With that said, I thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate you coming out and listening to me rant about Paul Krugman and also, understanding that, I'm human. I make mistakes. I wanted to jump in on this big trade. I thought this big trade was coming and I missed it by a little bit, but, I still think we can figure out some sort of trade in the interim, and that's just the way it is, right? You miss the trade, and you move on and you make a new one. All right. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, check out the video that's coming up here, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.